Good morning, everybody. My name is Vishnu Dutt, and today, as you can see, we are in session number 11 of CCNA, right? And tomorrow's session is going to be the last session of CCNA study. After that, maybe you will be going to some of the tests, and final test is a Cisco Certified Network Associate, which is a certification from Cisco. And I will guide you how to proceed with that. But yes, first thing first, you need to revise all these 10 sessions from beginning to end. Having said that, what we are going to cover today? We are going to cover few cool things with respect to network security. If you are interested in security, this is the very first session you can say. Although I am not going to go deeper into these security concepts, but as you all know that we have a website with the name bridgewire.com, right? And on that website, interestingly, I have created a 12-hour sessions on network security too, which absolutely start network security from scratch, right? If you do not have any idea about it, please have a look at it. So this course or this session, 12-hour session, is for those who are really enthusiastic about network security. And believe me, that is one of the best course I have ever produced, because I have spent approximately 7 years in network security when I joined Cisco, right after the college, I think 15 years back. Then starting 7 years I spent in network security business unit, right? So I just shared my knowledge from that business unit. And believe me, this course is just amazing if you are slightly enthusiastic about anything with respect to security, right? So this is what, if you want to go into detail, but what we are going to cover today, you all know that we left at a place where we were discussing enterprise network, how a typical enterprise network looks, right? What is cloud? What is on-prem? We are going to talk about it. Do not worry, right? Then we are going to start network security fundamentals. And believe me, if you want to understand network security, you need to work on your layer 4 also. By the way, we have covered layer 2. Layer 2 means everything with respect to address resolution protocol, right? MAC addressing, Ethernet, switching, trunk, STP, right? We all have completed that. The second thing is we have already completed layer 3, which talks about IP addressing, OSPF routing protocol, and how to deal with these routes, right? We are done with L2 and L3. L1 we are not going to take care, but yes, if we talk about L4, there are two major protocols there, which is TCP and UDP, right? And actually, layer 4 and layer 3 is so important for this model that they have taken one name from here, TCP, and then one name from here, IP. These are the major protocol, and that's why they are calling this model as TCP/IP model, right? 5-layer model. We are not interested much in learning the application. Maybe if you want to have more interest towards the application development, then possibly you also can see this. But yes, if you want to go into the network security field, believe me, you should be pretty good with respect to L5 and L4 application as well as TCP, right? Or the UDP. We are giving you a brief introduction about TCP and UDP. I haven't written here TCP versus UDP. I just want to make sure that we understand what is TCP and UDP. And again, TCP is not a protocol which can be explained in 10 or 1 hour. It needs a lot of thinking, right? Many people have developed this protocol. I cannot explain everything in just half an hour or 1 hour, right? Although UDP is pretty small as compared to TCP, but yes, it is going to take time. But we will be seeing that what problem TCP and UDP is solving, so maybe you can understand them better, right? We will be talking about threat, vulnerabilities, and exploit. Again, fancy names, right? But if you understand these terms, then believe me, you can start talking in terms of network security concepts, right? We will be talking about denial of services attack, distributed denial of services attack, and spoofing also. What is the meaning, right? and we will be seeing some recent attacks on these technologies. Or sorry, these what we can say, these concepts, right? We will be talking about digital certificates. If you do not have any idea about it, no problems, right? We will be talking about it. Then why behind VPNs? What is VPN? So I am pretty sure that some of you might be working from home, right? And if you are sitting at your home, right, you can still access uh, the resources inside Cisco. For example, if something is placed inside a network, Cisco's network, you can still get it from your home, right? And believe me, between your home and Cisco, we have internet connection, which is open to everybody. I do not want that somebody who is sitting, who has access of the internet can trace my packet, can capture my packet, and get to know all the information from that packet, right? I do not want to do that, and that is where VPNs come into picture. We use every day these VPNs, right? But we are going to talk about some of its nitty-gritties in terms of remote access VPN and site-to-site VPNs. Again, normal terms. Do not worry about the terms, because once we get the concept behind them, these terms are going to make more sense. We are going to talk about access control list, if time permits, port security, and DI. What is that? We will let you know. So this is the whole soul agenda of today's session. If you give me your 2 to 3 hours, you will be at least pretty good with respect to start of network security, right? You can start your journey in network security, because you never know. Right now, you are interns here. You never know which team you are going to be, right? As a network consulting engineer in security or enterprise domain. So let's talk about security and enterprise both. It is as simple as that. But before that, I forgot to mention that we are going to talk about where are we with respect to CCNA syllabus. And I have been talking about it that CCNA is huge, right? It is very, very difficult to complete everything of CCNA in 40 hours. But that is not the intent of this course. The intent of this course is only to cover maybe, the concept. If I talk about the details of concept, maybe I will be covering only 20 to 25%. But yes, from the certification point of view, we will be covering around 90 to 95%, right? But as I mentioned, we have lot to study more, and you have a open website with you, right? Just register any course and start learning. Having said that, let's talk about first thing first. Where are we with respect to CCNA, right? So here is your syllabus of CCNA, right? So if I talk about it, it is divided into several, uh, and let me open the pen also so that I can write over this. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay, please be here. No. Okay. So if you can see, your CCNA syllabus is divided into uh, few modules. For example, we have network fundamentals, network access, IP connectivity, IP services, security fundamentals, automation and programmability. This is done. Yesterday we have completed this automation and programmability, right? Rohit has done a tremendous job here to explain what we are doing in terms of automation and programmability in this certification. Believe me, we are also done with the network fundamentals, which is the first portion. Network access means, remember, we were talking about a switch which can directly connect it to the users, right? And that is why we were calling it access switch. And that is what this network access is talking about. This is talking about mostly layer 2, right? IP connectivity means layer 3. IP services is the one which we haven't covered till yet, and probably we will be covering this in tomorrow's session. Security fundamentals we are going to cover today. So till now, if I say we are done with 20% of this, 20% of network access, IP connectivity 25%, it means that 65% is done. If you combine automation and programmability with it, we are done with the 75%, right? Today and tomorrow, we are going to cover IP services and security fundamentals. It is going to make this syllabus as 100%. But yes, as I mentioned, there is more towards it, right? If you want to go a little bit deeper, you should do that. For example, if I open network fundamentals, you can see we have talked about few of the things like routers, switches, right? Endpoints, servers, access point, everything, right? Two-tier architecture, three-tier architecture. But yes, I haven't talked about span and leaf, and that is fine. If I leave some concept for you, if you and believe me, if you just Google around it, you will be reading span and leaf like any other article, because now you have fundamental knowledge, right? We have talked about small office, home office, on premises, and cloud. We will be talking about in today's session. So I haven't taken this approach that I should go step by step, topic by topic, because this is not going to make sense for me, right? First, I wanted to make you understand that how communication happened between these two hosts, and then I have involved all these terms, right? Similarly, just check this syllabus. You will be amazed to see that we have covered most of the things, right? If I talk about network access, we have talked about access port, default VLAN connectivity, right? Trunk ports, .1Q native VLAN, we all know about it. Yes, we haven't talked about CDP, but that is fine. We have talked about Etherchannel and LSEP, per VLAN spanning tree, Cisco wireless infrastructure. We all know about it now, right? So you are more than welcome to see the CCNA syllabus. Probably next week when we meet in campus, I will let you know what should be your strategy for this exam, right? But the number one strategy is going to be you need to complete all these lectures till now. I think we are done with, if I am in 11th session, if I include the 0th session, then 12th session of 3 hours is already done. It means that we are already having 36 hours, right? CCNA is huge. CCNA is the basics, the fundamentals. Believe me, you need to understand it. Having said that, let's talk about our first board today, which is a typical enterprise network and how this typical enterprise network looks, right? So again, we have our own characters, right? And let's take somebody from here today. Maybe we have here Mr. Dhaval, right? Mr. Dhaval is actually trying to open a business, okay? And he is doing pretty good with respect to sports and sporting goods, right? So he has developed a company where he has so many employees, maybe around 100. So that's why what he's doing is he is creating a place so that everybody comes there and start doing their work. Because if you have been hired by Cisco, right? Cisco is calling you to campus so that you can sit in the campus and work together as a team, as Cisco, right? Similarly, Dhaval is interested in making sports goods, right? And he has created a company. Let's say the company name is Sports India. Suppose he is a businessman. He has created this company with 100 people, and now he is making a building for them, which is a campus. And by the way, we will be understanding his business from the networking point of view, right? And his business is that he is having a portal, he is having a website through which anybody can come, give the order, and Mr. Dhavil's responsibility is to forward, is to send all these sporting goods or sports goods to whoever who has buy these uh, uh, equipments. Simple business, but try to understand there is a lot behind it, because it is not like that Mr. Dhaval is just hosting a website which is naming as sportsindia.com, which named as sportsindia.com, and anybody can come there and then order, right? For outsider, it is just like this. For outsider, we see Amazon like this, right? We go on the Amazon website, we order something, and we get something, right? But try to understand there is a huge infrastructure behind that. Why? Because there must be few people who are maintaining this website in Mr. Dhaval's company, right? Maybe there are few people who are dealing with the finance. For example, these people are giving some money to sportsindia.com to buy the products, and right? And that is why finance team is there who is collecting this money, right? Then there are some engineers in his company who is just like that, who is maintaining this website, who is improving this website, who is writing the algorithms, right? So that this website is can be kind of efficient. There could be a marketing team also, which is marketing Sports India to everywhere, so that anybody can come here. Anybody has information about this sportsindia.com, right? So this organization, this Sports India organization is a huge organization because it has all the functions, right? Not huge in terms of the employees because we have only 100 employees, but understand the power of 100. It's too much, right? But the Sports India has everything like finance department it has, which is responsible for distributing the salary. Maybe they are also having the HR department, most favorite department of the companies because it deals with the employees' well-beingness, right? Interesting. So Mr. Dhaval wants that everybody should come together in a building and start working, right? So when he has this only 100 people, so what he was doing, he has bought a place, a building, and he's invited all the people of his company into this building, right? And of course, if he is hosting a website, then that website should be somewhere here, this server, right? Do not worry about the different part like data center, internet, cloud, whatever we are showing. Just concentrate right now only at this red circle where we have this campus. We do not have anything else, right, apart from this campus. So we have the server, and then basically there are some more thing inside this campus, right? For example, if suppose this guy is a finance guy and he is having a team of 10 people, then he is responsible for maintaining and managing all the data with respect to finance, right? Then he must be using any software for that. And all these 10 guys along with this guy is continuously accessing this server who is running a software which can be helpful for these guys, right? Maybe it can be a financing application or financing software. And that is what we call as the application. So a company runs different applications which are crucial to this company's working, right? So this finance application is maybe very important for these finance guys. If you do not have access of this application, then people are not going to get the salary. It is as simple as that. Maybe some application is very, very important for the daily operations. I'm not sure what the daily operation could include that if somebody has given me the order, I need to deliver it. So the entire supply chain, which company I should give so that this order should be delivered to my customers, right? Maybe there is an operation server, right? Or we can say an application which is the need of these operations guys, right? And of course, this website which you are hosting, sportsindia.com, is the most crucial application or the software which you're running on the server, right? If this is down, everything is down. Mr. Dhaval is not going to get any business. It is as simple as that, right? And Mr. Dhaval, if he doesn't get the business, he becomes angry. He's the CEO. So the whole sole thing is if you have only a campus here, then you have servers, you have employees. Of course, you are going to uh, have these switches and routers so that you can do the routing and switching behind these servers and these employees so that these can talk together. And that's how you have built this campus infrastructure. It is as simple as that, right? I think you understand. You should understand by now that we need switches and routers so that these people, these 100 people can communicate with each other. Maybe you can create VLANs, right? So by the way, guys, what we are doing here is whatever we have learned today, till today, we are just combining all the information to build a network for an enterprise, and the enterprise name is sportsindia.com, which belongs to Mr. Dhaval Patel. Interesting. So till now, we are successfully able to build campus network because we know that if these people, these are many people, 100 people, somebody belongs to operations, somebody is in HR, somebody is finance. So because you guys know networking well, Mr. Dhaval doesn't know, right? So Mr. Dhaval hired a network engineer. He is the network engineer. Maybe he is Rahul because he has been with us in this CCNA syllabus, sorry, in CCNA course. So he knows networking, right? Mr. Dhaval is asking, can you create the campus network for me? And Mr. Rahul is saying, absolutely, I can. And he is suggesting so many things that if these people are here, HR, marketing, finance, right? We should not bother them with the broadcast messages. And Mr. Dhaval is saying, what is broadcast messages, right? So point number one, if you are, and this is a consultant advice to all the future consultants, right? This is my advice to you because you are going to be future consultant, right? You will be facing customers. You should always consider with whom you are speaking, right? If you are speaking to a technical guy, let's talk technical. That is perfect. And the rule is very, very simple. But if you are talking to an individual who is a CEO of the company or CFO of the company or anybody else, right? These guys has totally different vision. These guys want to take his or her organization to next level, right? They do not understand much technical details, right? And that is why Mr. Rahul should not say that I want to block the ARP message and that is why I'm going to create the VLANs. He just should say that I want to segment your network, right? Because your network requirements is different. So my advice to you, just see to whom you're talking, right? If the person at the other end has totally different vision, there is no point of talking technical. I'm not saying that the CEO cannot be technical. No, I'm not saying. His vision is totally different, right? If you want to explain your intent that why are you creating VLANs, why you do not want to send ARP message from one VLAN to other, right? You should talk to their technical teams. It is as simple as that, right? So Mr. Rahul is whole sole responsible of creating the network of this Sports India company, and he is quite proud that he has just created the campus network using VLANs, using Ether channels, using spanning tree. He has a separate VLANs for the server, and everybody is talking to everybody. This is just great. Interesting, right? Now, Sports India goods are so good that people are really liking them. And the traffic on sportsindia.com is huge. All over the world, all over the India, people are loving the products of Sports India. And that is why Mr. Dhaval is opening branches of its company into multiple places. For example, Mr. Dhaval has started the business from Gujarat, say, right? And now people are uh, um, there are so many requests coming from all over the India, all over the world. So he is actually creating more offices. Suppose he has opened his Delhi office, which is mainly for the what we can say for the sales. He has opened a office in Mumbai. He has opened an office in Chennai too, right? And this is the place basically, Chennai, where he has his complete plant, right? What is the meaning of plant? Where he is producing all the things Interesting. Previously, he was doing everything here in Gujarat, but now he sees that he needs some material from outside world. So he needs somebody somewhere, right? Which is more closer, right? I'm not sure why he has opened in Chennai, but he has made this is his decision to make this uh, Chennai unit as the production unit. Maybe some part in Gujarat, some part in Chennai, so that he has wide delivery. So he has offices in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, right? And now Mr. Rahul's job is to provide connectivity here. Although I have showcased here only one person sitting in Delhi, but there may be more, 10, 20%, right? There is another person sitting in Mumbai, right? Maybe more than one person. We have many person in Chennai. It is as simple as that, right? But don't you think that if we have included these branches, right, they need to communicate to these servers which we have in campus? Of course. Suppose this guy in branch one in Delhi, this one is the finance guy, right? And you all know that the finance server is in Gujarat, right? It means that by any means you should provide connectivity of this branch to campus. Similarly, if we have an operation guy here, he should want to access the application server, which is responsible for hosting an application, which is so important for applications, for which is so important for these guys, right? Who are dealing with operations. Similarly, an engineering guy is sitting here, and we have engineering server, which is running an engineering application here, right? You all should understand that although you have different branches in different places of India, but all these should communicate to these servers, right? Just try to understand. Somebody is in Delhi, somebody is in Mumbai, somebody is Chennai, and maybe there are hundred of more branches which Mr. Dhaval is going to open in the future, maybe outside India too. It is as simple as that. The whole soul thing is just try to understand. Try to understand the responsibility of Mr. Rahul's shoulders. Previously, he was just connecting 100 people. Now, what is going to happen if this organization move from 100 to 1,000? And this organization is getting big, not on a single place, but throughout India, throughout the world. Mr. Rahul is actually dealing with a lot of routers and switches because it at every branch, depending on its size, right? Depending on the size, you need to put switches and routers so that people inside these branches can communicate. And you need to take care of one more thing, which is actually how these guys are going to communicate with each other, right? These branches are going to communicate with each other, right? So that is why you have taken services of some service provider. If you are not comfortable with MPLS, that is fine. Just presume this also as internet service. I think you all should know internet. So what I've done is I have connected every branch to internet, right? What is this data center? Do not worry, I will come and talk about it. But for now, Mr. Rahul's concentration is on that there is a campus, there are so many branches. I need to make sure that these branches and campuses are talking together. Why? Because everybody needs to talk to these servers. It is as simple as that, right? Interesting. And now we are talking about campuses in Gujarat and one of the branches in Delhi. And you know the distance between Gujarat and Delhi? That's right. To understand, I think it should be around 1,000 kilometers or maybe more than that. I'm not sure. But let's try to understand. Suppose it is 1,000 kilometers. And if we are talking about connecting Gujarat and Delhi office over 1,000 kilometers, then we are talking about wide area networking. As simple as that. Internet is everywhere. You all know you connect campus with the internet, you connect this branch with the internet, and these two guys can communicate, right? As simple as that. Is it that much simple? If I include security, then basically if this branch guy is sending something to the server in the campus, it is going via internet and internet is open. And there are so many guys on the internet who are only there so that you cannot do your business. They are literally the intruder. They can see your packet. They can take the meaningful information out of the packet and they can destroy Mr. Dhaval company. It means that internet, which is a publicly available medium, you are sending data over this medium. How you are going to make sure the data is secure? We will be talking about it. But for now, Rahul is not thinking in terms of security. He is thinking that let's connect everybody with the internet so that everybody can talk with each other. It is as simple as that, right? But now, Mr. Rahul is facing one more problem. He's saying that everybody is coming to access this campus, and this Gujarat is not at the center of the entire world, right? So he is looking for a location where the server can be kind of equidistant to everybody, right? He cannot find always a perfect location, but he find a location, maybe say in Mumbai region, right? And now what he's doing, he is shifting all of its servers from his campus into a centralized location, which is known as data center, because data center hosts your servers. Now, this facility, this building where you are putting all the servers is known as data center. Data center of what? Data center of Sports India, right? One thing to note here is every enterprise network on which you are going to work is going to look like this. It is going to have a campus. Even the Cisco network, you are sitting in the campus, right? It is having so many buildings there, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, right? This is your campus. This is Cisco's campus. But do you think that Cisco has only buildings or the employees in only campus? No, absolutely no. We have office in Pune, we have office in Delhi, and so many places inside Cisco. We have office in all over the world. It is as simple as that, right? If you have a small organization, doesn't matter. If you want to have these servers inside your campus, that is perfectly fine. But if you have bigger organization and if these servers are really important to you, you just want to make them available all the time so that if something happens to this campus, your entire other branches can access these data center. You can argue with me that what if Mr. Vishnu, this data center goes down? And that is why we are having redundant data center. Do not worry about it. So this is the most basic network I am showcasing you without any redundancy, right? But this is how any company's network looks like, right? So this board is really, really important for you. Having said that, Mr. Dhaval, on Rahul's recommendation, agreed to find a location, the centralized location, which is right here. And we are shifting our servers from here to here. Now these servers are here. Again, if you cannot just put all the servers here because you need connectivity. Now you need connectivity of this data center to the campus, right? And that is why you are going to use the service of this internet, right? So that servers can also reach from the campus. It is as simple as that, like this. Interesting. But how these servers are going to communicate with each other, with these employees at campus branches, you need to build a setup for them. And that is why you are including these switches. You are including the routers. Why switches? So that these servers can communicate amongst themselves. Why routers? Because anybody who wants to connect with them, maybe from the campus or branches, they are going to be in different network. Your servers are going to be in different VLAN. If you need them, you need to have a L3 device. You are having L2 device here, right? What is these devices? Actually, these are load balancer. I will let you know after some time. But try to understand, data center is just like any other network, right? But instead of employees, there most of the times there we get the servers. It is not the fact that employees cannot work here. Maybe in the Mumbai location, you have few employees also, which are taking care of this data center, right? And here on this server, you are hosting your website, sportsindia.com, and somebody from outside is coming and giving orders, right? By accessing this website. It is as simple as that. So if we talk about, because servers have different requirement than laptop and PC, so this network is slightly different as compared to our enterprise network. And we call this as a data center network and data center networking. And Cisco has software-defined solution for data center, which is known as application-centric infrastructure, ACI. Just the term. How you are going to build the data center network. It is not the fact that you cannot build on the basis of your current knowledge L2 and L3. You can, but if this data center is huge, it's big, right? You want to minimize the manual intervention as mentioned by Rohit in yesterday's class. Automation is the key, right? So instead of working on you, instead of working manually, you are going to take help of ACI or software defined networking, right? How you are going to connect these multiple office, maybe 100, 200, 300 offices with each other. This portion of the networking, right? This portion of the networking, which is connecting all the things together, is known as wide area networking. I am again repeating, and Cisco has a software defined solution for that too, because you are talking about connecting 1,000, 2,000 branches of a company. And if you do this manually, it is going to take so much time. And that is why we are including software to do our job. And that is why software defined networking, right? And if we are doing software defined networking for WAN, it is going to be our SD-WAN. It is as simple as that. It is not the fact that before software defined networking, we were not able to connect these branches. We were without any doubt. But yes, there were some issues, there was some gap. And believe me, yesterday somebody pinged me on the WebEx team, someone from you, and they are and he or she is interested in learning SD-WAN, and I was amazed to see that yes, that people are actually having a lot of interest towards this technology, right? And if you are curious learning that how we are going to connect these WAN things, right? Just have a look at the course on SD-WAN. It is absolutely there. Now let's talk about campus, how we are going to build a campus network. As I mentioned that campus has slightly different requirement than data center, which you could come to know maybe when you are on the floor, when you are working for the customer. And that is why in campus side, we have a different software defined solution, which is known as software defined access. Software defined access for campus, WAN for WAN, right? And software defined or basically application centric infrastructure, which is again a SDN or software defined networking in data center. It is as simple as that. So this was your overall picture of the network. I would definitely need a hand raise from you if you get at least 40% or 50% out of this diagram. If you don't, please ask me the questions, right? I know that I am abstracting, I am hiding a lot of information from you, but that is what I am supposed to do here, right? Otherwise, it is going to be overwhelming for you. And thank you so much that you are getting it. So now let's move ahead, right? Let's move ahead, and I haven't discussed about few more things, right? Which I want to include. So if I talk about here that we have connected cloud also, right? So now Mr. Rahul is talking to Mr. Dhaval. Mr. Rahul is now Dhaval's most promising engineer because he has built the complete network of Sports India, right? So Mr. Dhaval and Mr. Rahul are talking with each other. And Mr. Rahul is saying that now we have a pretty stable network. We have data center, we have connected branches, campus. But now Mr. Dhaval said that we are spending a lot here, right? Can we do something to minimize the cost, right? And Mr. Rahul is contemplating on that. He's thinking a lot, right? And he's seeing that the data center is actually a costly business. Why? Because to maintain this data center, we need people and many people depending on the size of your data center. We need to buy this facility, right? The complete the complete space where we are putting these servers, electricity, space, management, operations, everything, right? Data center is a costly business. So Mr. Rahul has heard about this thing which is coming, which is very promising nowadays. Everybody should understand that there is a thing called cloud, right? And basically, this cloud is giving us the servers like this, whatever we have, right? And now, instead of having these servers run in data center, I am talking about a specific cloud, although there are many variations of the cloud, but I'm talking about what is the overall purpose of having cloud infrastructure. You all know that we have companies like AWS, Amazon Web Services, Azure, which is basically a cloud solution from Microsoft. Amazing solution, I would say. And then Google Cloud also. We have various, maybe Hostinger, we have so many other solutions also which are providing these cloud services. And these guys are saying that you do not need to spend so much money here. We will give you in this space, we will give you the servers, everything, and it is our responsibility that these servers are going to be available all over the world. And that's what Mr. Dhaval and Rahul was looking for. So what they are doing is they are actually moving these servers from this data center into the cloud. And this cloud is connected to internet is connected to all the campuses and branches. So it means that you can also access, all these employees can access the servers in the cloud also. It is as simple as that. Interesting, right? This is what about cloud. And I am talking about a specific variation of cloud, which is infrastructure as a service. Why? Because this cloud is giving you infrastructure in terms of servers. It is as simple as that, right? So if you are putting your servers into the cloud, these are going to part of your cloud. But there are some things which you do not want to put on the cloud. Maybe your finance or your customer data. Finance and customer data is very, very important for you. So you are not putting these two servers, suppose this one and this one, into the cloud. It is still there. But yes, the space requirement, the number of people who are managing this data center requirement were too low now, right? I'm not saying, I'm again repeating, I'm not saying the cloud solution is the cheaper solution as compared to, because previously people were shifting to the cloud because they were finding that yes, cloud is somewhat looking cheaper, but no, it is not the case now. Recent studies have proven that cloud is even a costlier solution, but yes, it is having some more advantages. I do not want to get into that discussion, but if you want, we can have some other time. But it is as simple as that, that you can move some of those servers into the cloud. Whatever the things you have in your data center, right? In your campus, in your branches, we call them on-prem. What is the meaning of on-prem? The meaning of on-prem is that those assets, those things are within your premises, right? But you have moved some of the servers into the cloud. That is not on-prem, right? That is not under your premises. That is basically where that is in the cloud. So this is the difference between on-prem and cloud. It is as simple as that. But now let's talk about something in terms of security too, because that is going to be the topic of next 2 hours discussion, right? So Suppose here we have a user who is sitting on its laptop, right? And this user is interested in buying some cricket bats. So he's logged into Sports India server. Interesting, right? And he's ordering. So he's connecting from here over the complete internet. He's coming into the data center of Mr. Dhaval Patel's company, and he's going right here. Do not worry about these devices. These are the load balancer. Because sometime on your website there is too much load, and then you need to distribute that load. And that is why we have these devices. Do not worry about them. We will be talking, right? So this guy is a legitimate user of Sports India. He has ordered and Mr. Dhaval has delivered, right? Interesting. But now, internet is full of people. Some are good, some are bad. And believe me, there are so many bad people there whose entire intention is to shut down this business, right? It means that Mr. Rahul needs to take care of this also, that whatever the requests are coming from outside, those should be the legitimate request. If somebody is trying to destroy the server, I need to block it right there. Interesting, right? And for that, we need some more devices in our organization. And some of these devices are known as firewall. Maybe we need IPS also. I think you all have heard about this term firewall, which can stop these kind of activities, right? It can let in the normal activities, but if there is a difference, if somebody wants to sabotage my server, somebody want to destroy my company, then it is going to, and firewalls are literally really intelligent devices, right? Built by people like you, of course. Having said that, but to understand the working of these firewalls, right? We need to talk about first thing first, the TCP and UDP. So right now I'm talking about the layer 4, but before that, I would like to take a pause here, right? I would like to take a pause here so that you can ask question. Mr. Dhaval, do we have any question?
No, Vishnu.
Perfect. So everybody got it. That's okay. That's great. So now let's talk about network security fundamentals. But yes, before that, we need to understand, if you want to understand TCP, believe me, we want to understand why behind TCP, right? And what is going to happen if transport control protocol is not there. Transmission control protocol is not there. Sorry for the mistake, right? So what is happening here, guys? We all know that we have started with Anjali and we have started with Rahul, right? Anjali is here, Rahul is here. They have been here from last 10, 12 classes. And in the meantime, means they were sitting on a cafeteria or anywhere else, and Mr. Rahul proposed Anjali. Okay. And Anjali got a shock, right? It can happen to anybody. So Anjali said that I will reply to you, right? And you were, of course, Rahul was expecting an answer, right? And Anjali was saying that when I go home, I will reply back to you. Do not worry, we are not deviating from the topic. This is the most important piece to understand here. What problem TCP is trying to solve, right? So Anjali and Rahul now, they both are at their home, right? And Anjali is not sure about being into a relationship now, and she wrote on a WhatsApp application, right, that I do not love you. These are simple 4 packets which need to be delivered to Mr. Rahul. It is as simple as that. But now, from this TCP/IP model, just try to understand. I have removed transport layer. There is no transport layer here. Application is directly delivering the data to network layer. It means that all these packets, I, don't, love, and you, are going to be delivered one by one to network layer. Network layer is going to deliver them across from here to here into the machine of Mr. Rahul. And here is my problem. The problem is, suppose at a particular time we have these R1, R2, and R3. You all know that network layer can understand only IP addressing. Interesting, right? Because there was a duty of another protocol which could understand that to which application I need to deliver this packet, right? Suppose that is not there and that is not doing its job. So network layer will be responsible for forwarding this packet across R1 and R2, and R1, R2, R3 are fully capable of doing that. Why? Because they have the routing table. We all understand about layer 2 and layer 3, right? So there is no doubt about it that all the packets are going to be delivered to Mr. Rahul's machine. But what is going to happen? Suppose this network, whatever the network is, this one, right? IP network is congested. The meaning of congestion is it is getting a lot IP packets, right? Every router is having its certain capabilities that it can send maybe 1 Gbps of data, 1 gigabits per second of data out of this interface. But what if we have 2 gigabits per second of data on this interface? Then this router has some mechanism which we call known as QoS, quality of service. Basically, it can store these messages, but you can understand router does not have that kind of memory also. At the end, in case of congestion events, the router can drop these packets also. And suppose what is going to happen that the packet number 1, packet number 2, suppose we are giving the name number 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Packet number 1 is delivered to Rahul, means I. Packet number 2 was not delivered to Rahul. 3 delivered to Rahul and 4 delivered to Rahul, means Rahul is getting the message, I love you. Why? Because second packet was dropped, can be dropped by any of these router. It is as simple as that. Maybe it could have been dropped by this one. Rahul is pretty happy. But you all understand he shouldn't be, because there is a mistake in the network. The mistake was that there is no application, there is no transport layer. Then you must be thinking that what transport layer could have, how transport layer can solve this problem, right? And you won't believe there is an entire session, entire course just built on TCP, which is 12-hour course. And I was sitting with my wife, right? I was creating this diagram. She got interested and she asked me that what you are creating. Then I am saying that I am trying to explain people a pretty basic problem of TCP. And believe me, everybody means try to understand. TCP is a pain for many people, right? If you believe me, this is one of the most simple protocol if you understand why behind it. And we are trying to just understanding why behind it. So my wife was discussing about it and she was thinking this is not a problem at all, right? Then I asked, how can you solve it? Yeah, I can solve this problem technically. And believe me, my wife does not even understand anything with respect to technology, right? She has the entire communication in biology and most of the time in basically you can say the teaching side, but not towards the science, right? And she was just saying that I have a solution for this problem, and I was too curious, right? So she was saying just mark this packet with the numbers. Then I said, okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And she was saying that inform Mr. Rahul that I am sending packets from number one. And that is it. Interesting. And then basically she has also suggested that after that you won't be having this problem. Then I said, how? She's saying that suppose packet 1 is delivered here, packet 2 is delivered here, packet 3 is delivered here, packet 4 is delivered here, right? If this, whatever the network you have, I do not know how, why this is dropping the whatever my messages are. But suppose it has dropped the packet number 2, then packet number 2 is not going to be here at all, right? Mr. Rahul will be receiving number 1, number 3, and number 4. He come to know that there is something missing because after 1 and before 3, there should be packet number 2. It was an amazing solution, right? And believe me, TCP developers have implemented this solution like this, right? This initial packet, whatever I'm saying, whatever Anjali was saying, right? If I convert now my wife's solution into the TCP solution, this is actually your TCP three-way handshake. Interesting. How? Because Anjali is saying that I am sending packet from number one. Okay, that is fine. And then basically Rahul will able to understand that if there is nothing, and this is the most simplest solution, right? I have seen people have so many doubts about TCP, right? And again, I am again saying again and again that this TCP cannot be explained in 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes. There is a, actually I have taken this example of Rahul and Anjali, that why this packet is dropped. What we can do so that Mr. Rahul can know that the packet is dropped. Can we acknowledge every packet, right? If I give you the analogy of post office, there is different services in post office. One is a premium service where you can say this is my premium package to the post office, and post office will say, okay, once it is delivered, we will acknowledge you, right? So this package is delivered and somebody get message also that package is delivered. Actually, we want this only, right? Some form of communication, some form of connection, so that I come to know that this message is it. Although I have already talking everything over this medium, which is IP, which is fully capable of dropping the packet. IP is not a protocol which is going to deliver all of your packet, right? Then you must be thinking if that is the case, then it's a problem, right? Not necessarily. Why? Because now Rahul knows that 1 is delivered, 3 is delivered, 4 is delivered, 2 is not there. He can ask, literally ask that, Anjali, you are sending 1, 3, and 4. Can you send me the second also, right? And basically, we do not have any layer which is dealing all with this and basically Anjali wants to retransmit them, right? Because Rahul is specifically asking, I want packet number 2 because I didn't receive it. So Anjali can retransmit it, right? Right? Who is going to do that? Application is not responsible for that. Application is just getting data, sending, right? Network layer is just responsible for sending data from one machine to other machine, although the packet is dropped because of the congestion, right? Who will be there who is going to do all these activity like retransmission and here or the Rahul's end who is exactly asking, send me the packet number 2. This is the responsibilities of transport layer. This is the responsibility of transmission control protocol. It is as simple as that, right? So basically, before sending anything, Anjali is making a connection with this initial message that I am going to send a packet with this, right? And you must be wondering that it could be the case that the first packet can be dropped by the system, by the IP, right? Right? It means that once I send a message that I'm sending a packet from number one, Rahul has to respond that, okay, I got that. And then Anjali should start talking. It is as simple as that, right? Interesting. So basically, whatever Rahul is sending as a reply, it is known as acknowledgement. And let's talk about the entire process now, that how it is going to be delivered, right? So although I have explained the solution to you, right? If we mark this packet number one, number two, number three, and I inform Mr. Rahul that Mr. Rahul, this is my synchronous message to synchronize the communication between you and me, that I am starting with the message number one. And here is the problem. The problem is people always understand this is a one-way communication between Rahul and Anjali. Sorry, between Anjali and Rahul. No, there is a two-way communication, because whatever I have written here, Rahul can also send the messages towards Anjali, right? From here to here. So what Rahul is going to do, okay, Anjali, I acknowledge, I acknowledge that you have sent me the packet number one. And I will be starting from packet number one too, because Rahul can also send messages, right? And he can also mark them one, two, three, whatever he can write, right? And then what Anjali is going to do? Okay, acknowledge. I acknowledge that you are going to start from one. Now there is a two-way communication. Anjali is communicating with Rahul. Rahul is communicating with Anjali. And by the way, these initial three exchange of packets is known as three-way handshake, because before doing the communication you are handshaking. Now Rahul knows that whenever Anjali is going to start sending its messages, she will be sending with 1, 2, 3, and 4. If something is missing, I will be asking it again. Anjali is quite sure that if Rahul is going to send some messages, he will be sending with the 1 or maybe any number. I am choosing this one, any arbitrary number, right? In TCP, we call it the sequence number. This is actually what the TCP three-way handshake is. If you really want to go deeper, that how transport layer is going to ask that I need packet number two because I'm missing. How Anjali is going to transmit it again. You need a deeper understanding on TCP, right? These are the errors in TCP because packet is not delivered. This packet is not there. This is the error. How you are going to control that error. GCP is a huge topic. I have summarized it in 12 hours of a course. If you are interested, this is that simple, right? Again, one of the course which is more closer to my heart. Please have a look at it in your free time. But I would say the bridgewire.com, whatever it has right now, if you just follow it, you're going to be pretty good with respect to networking concepts. Having said that, let's talk about another protocol, which is UDP, right? As I mentioned that now TCP, what TCP is doing, it is creating the initial handshake. It is making the initial connection first. And then basically once this connection, once this three-way handshake is there, then basically they start sending data, right? And if data is missed, they will retransmit the data. But do you think that, do we need to take this pain all the time? And you must be saying, yes, absolutely. Otherwise, there are going to be such mistakes. I agree with you, right? But in certain circumstances, we do not need all this connection formation, retransmission of data or everything, anything, right? So suppose there is a transport layer here also, and here also. And now these two guys are talking over a phone call. No, they are not sending messages, right? And suppose this thing is, hi, Rahul, how are you? And this guy is saying, I am perfectly fine. Interested in the results because I got the wrong information. And he doesn't know about it, right? Because WhatsApp has delivered all this information. We have just removed transport layer from the system of Anjali and Rahul and see the confusion, right? But now, in case of phone call, just try to understand. If I am continuously talking and I'm saying, hi, Rahul, how are you? And suppose this R gets missing, is it beneficial to send this R after 10 seconds or 5 seconds? That now I'm saying, hi, Rahul, how are you, right? And R is missing. In the normal real-time conversation, it is not benefit at all that you are going to send the missing pieces or missing packets after some time, because that is going to make that doesn't make any sense, right? And that is why you do not need to send the missing packets in these cases, right? In case of real communication. In case of video conferencing also, suppose something gets missing, because this is the real time, right? This R, how are you in R doesn't going to make sense if I send it after 10 seconds, right? So sometimes we do not need this connection to be built, right? We just deliver to network layer, and after just we just want to tell that this packet is for this application, and that is why the UDP is there. The UDP packet is very simple. UDP header, it is going to have source port, destination port. What is the meaning of source and destination port? The meaning is that this packet is generated by this application which is running on this number. It wants to go into this application which is running on this number, and basically there is a checksum field, and that is it. I forgot one more field was there here. I think the length field is there, right? And the TCP header is huge because it has to deal with a lot of things: retransmission, acknowledgement, sequence number, so many things, right? UDP, whatever the technology we are reading here, this is UDP because in certain cases you do not need to retransmit the packet. In certain cases you do not need to make that initial connection. That is why you have heard about it in your engineering days. UDP is connectionless because we use UDP for data, for sending messages, real-time messages. It is as simple as that. And in real-time messages, we do not need retransmission. We do not need to make initial connection. So I'm literally talking about voice. So what I am sending? I am sending voice over what? IP. What? Yeah, this is IP network. And I'm sending voice over it. You must have heard about it. Voice over IP2. Straightforward, simple, right? But again, because you are starting your career, I do not want to overwhelm you with so many concepts. We will stop the discussion of TCP and UDP right here. If you want to study more, you are more than welcome. Anybody has any doubt, any question on TCP versus UDP, please do ask. But believe me, this is not that difficult at all. So Mr. Sheikh Ali, you have a question or you forget to lower your hand raise? Okay, okay. Anybody has any doubt, any question, or can I get a hand raise if you get everything, whatever I have explained till now? Okay.
I think there was one question from Aditya. That's what if the fourth packet is
Punish, sorry, I lost you.
questions from Aditya. What if the fourth packet is lost? Last fourth packet is lost.
Yeah, this is again very interesting thing. So that is why it is just the start of TCP. Mr. Aditya, there are a lot of things to cover, right? But yes, this is a great question, and that is what I would say. If I explain that, I need to explain few more things, which is going to take half an hour. So why don't you do just this thing, right? I am pretty sure that this is not the only question which is coming into people's mind. There are so many, so many. And believe me, I have answered all of them in the 12-hour course of TCP. Feel free to register it and see, right? It is going to be free for you, by the way. Having said that, let anything else, Mr. Punish, do we have any other question?
Can you explain what does checksum do? It's from Anvesh.
What does checksum do? This is the same checksum. If you remember, layer 2 header, at the layer 2 header, we have the L2 header where we have source MAC, destination MAC, and at the end we have the field, the trailer 2, which is checksum, right? If something happens to this message, when it is over the wire, right? If due to something somebody has changed the content of this messages, right? Then the checksum through checksum we come to know that the message is not correct. Somebody has tweaked this message. What is the theory behind it? It is again very, very simple. I have explained this checksum 2 here, right here. So you can go ahead, but checksum is actually to know whether the message in between is altered or not. Okay. Anybody else? Punish?
All good.
Perfect. So you can lower your hands, guys, and thank you so much. If you are getting it, it is making my day, right? Let's talk about more now. Now I need to discuss few things here, right? As I mentioned, that the attacks on your enterprise can be from outside, because there is a good people here also, maybe a person with a laptop A, and there are many bad people here also, right? The meaning of bad is not that they are not intelligent. They are, because they understand the IP protocol. They understand how to take advantage of it, right? There is no problem with respect to understanding, but yes, their intentions are not good. They want Mr. Dhaval's company to go down, or to take some meaningful information out of it so that they can destroy it, or they can ask money from Dhaval, right? So some attacks can happen from outside, right? On this abc.com, or sorry, the sportsindia.com. But do you think that all the attacks are going to be from outside? Previously, we all think like this. We all thought about it, and we came to know that yes, most of the attacks are from outside, but that is not the correct data. If you figure out, if you try to research on internet, that the many attacks or most of the attacks are basically from inside. If I say inside, means these are the employees, right, who can also attack these system if they have access to, right? So it means that suppose we are here in the finance department is here, these two guys belong to finance, and this guy is in engineering, he is not happy with the company, right? If that is the case, right, these employees who do not have anything to deal with the finance, these guys should be blocked access to the finance servers, right? So suppose I have a finance server here which is working on the IP address 10.10.10.10 slash something, right? Here I do not want that except for the finance guys, anybody else can access it, and we have more than 100 of branches, right? But we all know that the finance service is in the data center, not in the cloud. If we had put this server into the cloud, then basically we were talking about cloud security. We were talking about how to provide security to this server so that only finance guys are only able to access it, and we can do that too, right? But now let's see, we can place a device which is, the name of the device is Firewall, and this Firewall is an intelligent device which can do the control on such access or malicious access. The meaning of malicious is whose intent is not good. So of course the intent of these guys is not good, right? And intent of this person is also not good. So what you need to do is, whoever is coming to this Sports India website from outside needs to go to Firewall, right? I will be doing the routing in such a way that the packet from the internet will come onto this router, and the router is going to forward them towards the firewall. Why on firewall? Because on firewall I can write the rules, what should be given access, whom should I give the access, so right, and how these rules have been created or we can create. This is a different topic together. We need to understand working of firewall, right? But yes, if I can do something like this. So suppose I am showcasing the traffic flow of inside person, right? Like this person who is engineering, who is not happy employee and want to destroy something, want to access the finance server, right? He will be going like this, and I will force him to first bypass through firewall, right? Sorry, first pass through firewall. And in this firewall, I have created a rule that this kind of employees who belongs to this network, which is having engineering background or who are part of engineering VLAN, should not be given access to this server. Which server? The finance server. So these guys' access are going to be blocked right at the firewall. It is as simple as that. Similarly, the people with good intention, this firewall can let go. But how? Again, the packet is a packet, right? There is nothing on this packet which says that it is a good intent. This is packet with good intention, and the other packet is with bad intention. So we need to do some really clever things to know about it, right? And that is why I'm again saying that to understand firewall, to understand network security, you should be moving. Most of our network engineers says that we are good if we know L1, if we know L2, if we know L3, means if we know physical layer, data link layer, and network layer. But believe me, if you want to have a complete understanding of networking and network security, you should go one layer forward, at least. You should be having you should understand L4 also, TCP and UDP, so that you can understand the packet well. And if you can understand the packet, you can see the intention inside the packet, or you can tweak the packet according to you so that you can safeguard your company, right? And now this is the responsibility of Mr. Rahul too. Rahul has created the complete network. Rahul is responsible for now security too. He is the head of networking department inside Mr. Dhaval Patel's company. It is as simple as that, right? So TCP and UDP is done, and I also mentioned that there could be attack from outside, that could be attack from inside. We need to be careful, and that is why what we are going to do, we will be introducing the concept of firewall now. It is a slightly different diagram than the previous one, right? What we are doing here is, this is my complete organization. Suppose this is my complete organization. Here I have only 3 PCs, a switch, a router, and maybe 2 servers, server number 1, server number 2, right? And I am hosting a website on this server inside my company. And of course, this is on a public IP address so that anybody can go and access this site. And there are so many good people who wants to do the business with me, and that's why they can come, right? But there are some bad people too who should not be able to come. They should be blocked right here. And the firewall duty is this one. To give you a simple example, firewall can create rules like this. This is a pretty simple example. I'm not saying the firewall is limited to this. I'm talking about a firewall which is 10, 12 years old. Today's firewall is more smart. They can actually, you all know that first thing first, we have data, then we have TCP header, then we have IP header, right? And then we have layer 2. Firewall can see everything, right? That's why we known as the layer 7 device if you talk about OSI model, right? Even firewall can look inside this data too if they want, if they have to. It is as simple as that, right? So I'm just getting rule 10 years old rule, which is saying permit TCP. TCP application can be anything, right? Your web application which runs at port 80 is your TCP application. FTP, SSH, are basically your TCP applications, which run on different port. I think SSH run on 22, right? So it is saying that permit any packet which is coming on port 80, who is having this source address, destination address from inside to outside. What is the meaning of inside to outside? We presume that one of our network, which is in under our control, this is my inside part of the network, which I say that I presume this is safer side, right? But the other side, internet, which is not under our control, we say it is outside. So by default, I am repeating once again, by default, firewall does not allow anything from outside to inside. No, no packet can come from outside to inside. Okay, firewall will block it right here. But any packet can go from inside to outside, from here, from this laptop, over this firewall to anybody in internet, right? So inside to outside can go without any doubt, but outside to inside, this firewall is going to block, right? What does that mean? This means that by default, firewall is blocking any access from outside to inside. So you need to sit here on this firewall and create these rules that only legitimate user can come from outside to inside, and that is why you are permitting at port 80, whoever wants to come at port 80 can come. Some of you must be thinking that if firewall is only letting the traffic from inside to outside, then won't it is breaking whatever we have understood yet till yet? For example, we have a Google server here, right? And if somebody wants to access the Google server, no doubt about it, the firewall is going to pass it in one direction. But what if the Google want to send something to it, right? As a return traffic? Because what you are doing here, you want to access something from the Google, and Google is going to reply you back, right? If it is replied back, then what do you say? Firewall is going to block it or send it. And that is where the intelligence of firewall comes into picture. It sees, it observes what is going through it. If it is going from inside to outside, it says that the reverse traffic flow with the switching of source IP and destination IP, right? You all understand the reverse packet flow is going to switch the source to destination and destination to source. Firewall is intelligent enough that somebody from inside wants to communicate from here to here from the Google. I should be allowing traffic from Google to here, this side. It is as simple as that, right? So firewall are basically pretty intelligent in this regard. But yes, if something which is initiated from the internet, right, they are going to block it unless you have specified something that permit this guy. As simple as that, right? So we have introduced the firewall. If I give you an example of another device, which is intrusion prevention system, IPS. Once the preliminary examination is done by firewall that yes, this user can be permitted, it can be sent to IPS. It is not Indian Police Services. It is intrusion prevention system, right? So intrusion prevention system has some more capabilities. Actually, it can go right into the data, right? It works just like how your antivirus system works, right? For example, you are sitting on a sitting inside a you are sitting on this laptop and you are accessing a website which is having some virus. Virus is any program which can infect your device, which can take some information from your device, depending on the type of virus. So you are accessing this website, the virus come inside, right? And that is where your antivirus comes into picture. So most of the virus which have been which are there for a longer period of time. We have signature for that virus, which are already installed into the antivirus service provider, right? Sorry, antivirus software. And if this signature match, so signature is basically something which can be produced from data. And if we are getting the same data, we know that this is something malicious because I have a signature for it, right? This is how your antiviruses work. Similarly, IPS know so many signatures because we feed all these signatures that this, if some data come with this signature, or if you get a data which is matching to the signature, then just deny that data. Just deny the packet. Just filter the packet out. Otherwise, it can create a lot of problems in your network, right? I've just included IPS to complete your CCNA syllabus because there is a mention of IPS device there. But believe me, IPS is again, in their term, is a huge device which can do a lot of things with your data. But yes, overall, it matches your packet. It writes C's inside the packet. If the packet matches a particular signature which proves that it's a malware or it's a virus, we are going to deny this packet, right? It is as simple as that. If anybody has any doubt, please raise your hand or ask the question to Punish. Punish, do you have any question?
No, Vishnu.
Okay. So now what I've done is I have made my enterprise secure. I am putting the firewalls right here. So if somebody wants to come from outside, if I'm giving access, then it can go. If somebody wants to access my server from inside also, I'm letting them passing through firewall so that they can be given access, or basically they can be given, means if this I want that this guy should not access the server, it should be denied right here. I'm not saying that only placing firewall can secure your complete organization, but it's just a beginning. You may need IPS, you may need cloud-based security solution, which you will be understanding which when you come on the floor, when you face the customer. It is as simple as that. Having said that, let's talk about this slide also, and then we will take a break. Here I am just explaining 3 terms so that you can start talking with anybody, with any security expert also, right? You need to understand what is the meaning of vulnerability, what is the meaning of exploit, what is a threat. Okay, so suppose we have this router here, right? I can give you the example, very basic example. Suppose I have this router here, this one, right? And you all know that you can log into this router, and first thing first, you can come into the, you have to write enable, and then basically you can go into the configuration mode. In this configuration mode, you can change the configuration. You can do anything with this router, right? And suppose this is a key router. All the routing is happening through this router, right? Because this is router between the servers and all of your, what we can say, the branches, right? All the traffic is going via this. If this router has some problem, then it's a problem. So anybody can go into the enable mode and can come to the configuration mode, unless if you define a password on the enable mode, right? That if anybody wants to go from enable mode to the configuration mode, or from the enable prompt to the configuration mode, they have to write down a password. It means that you are safeguarding your configuration mode with this password. Anybody can log in into this device, can have access to the enable mode, but he cannot go to the configuration mode unless he has the password. But suppose you forget about it, you do not give this password, anybody can come inside, can go into the configuration mode, and then basically he can tweak whatever he wants, right? So in your configuration, when Mr. Rahul was creating the configuration of this router, he forgot to safeguard your configuration mode with a password. And if that is the case, then basically your configuration has some problem in it, so that anybody else can come into your router and change the configuration. That problem is actually known as the vulnerability. The meaning of vulnerability is that you have written down this software code or the configuration, but you forget something. You forget some important piece through which anybody else can come into a router and exploit it and use this, right? And if we can destroy this router, believe me, your entire operation, all of your branches cannot access this one, right? Maybe this guy can be inside your organization or outside your organization. If you have just kept it open, right? Anybody can come into the configuration mode and attack, right? So this is the vulnerability from the configuration perspective. But what if somebody is writing a code, right? Right? Of an application, and he forgets something which this guy can take advantage of. It means that this application has some vulnerabilities, right? And this guy who is using some, maybe this guy can write a code, software, right? Or anybody, your employee also, right, can write a code to log in into this device and basically check whether there is an enable password or not. If there is no enable password, then he can log into that script and destroy the configuration. He just right, he can say, right, erase everything, right? Interesting. So the tool this device use, right, or anything which this guy is using to exploit this vulnerability, right, or to take advantage of this vulnerability is known as exploit. That is the code or the software which you write. Because you know there is a vulnerability in the system, you write a code which can take advantage of that vulnerability, and that is it's known as the exploit. What is the meaning of threat? Threat is this complete event which is happening right now. Somebody is coming into your organization, taken access of your router and doing some bad things, right? This is a complete event which can have maybe one exploit, two exploit, multiple exploit, because you have multiple vulnerabilities into your system. It is as simple as that. So now when we come back from the break, believe me, the next couple of slides are going to be very, very interesting, because we will be discussing some of the recent attacks which had happened on many organizations, right? And believe me, the understanding these attacks are very, very simple. And if you have a good understanding of firewall, then you can just firewall plus TCP plus UDP, then you can straightforward just block all those attacks, right? What are those attacks? We are going to discuss when we come back. Having said that, we are going to take a break of nearly 30 minutes. We will be back at 11:40. Okay? Welcome back once again. And before going on break, we were talking about this board, right? Okay, sorry for this. Where we were talking about that how firewalls can improve the security, right? And then basically we have discussed about the few terms like threat, vulnerability, and exploit. I think we all understood it. And now this is the time where we are going to talk about a special type of attack, which is denial of service attack, right? What is the meaning of denial of service? We will be talking about it. So what we have here, we have one server. Maybe suppose this is your bank server, or maybe this is Mr. Dhaval's company's Sports India server, right? you all know that this server is available on internet. So anybody can access this server, and actually we are running a web service over it. Web service means we are running Sports India website over it. Okay. And under normal condition, what is happening, that there are so many users of internet. Now Mr. Dhaval business is at peak, and actually maybe the World Cup is here, the FIFA you can say, or Cricket World Cup is there, and there is a lot of orders from all over the world, all over the India. I'm not saying Mr. Dhaval is having only this, means only one server. Maybe he has more than one server over this web service. Web service is distributed. If you do not know concept of distributed web services, that is perfectly fine. But if a server is getting a lot of requests, then only one server cannot serve those requests. And that is why we can distribute it amongst the various servers. But for the simplicity, I am showcasing you here only one server. Again, Mr. Dhaval is hosting a website here, and all other guys, A, B, C, whatever we have here, they are trying accessing this server and ordering whatever they want, right? So now here we have Mr. Intruder, and Mr. Intruder is on internet. He is a very skillful person. He knows internet protocol. He knows TCP/IP, and he has some understanding of applications also. Along with that, he is actually very equipped with some of the programming languages also. He knows Python. He knows some part of C, C++, right? He is good with respect to most of the things, but now he's not doing all these things to increase or to make good contribution in the society, but he is using all these skills maybe to create problems on the internet, right? So what he is doing here, he actually seeing that Mr. Sports, the Mr. Dhaval's business in case of Sports India, he is doing really well, right? And now he do not want that this business should go up and up, right? So what he's doing, he is actually wants to attack the server which is available on internet, right? Interesting. So what he is doing is, because he is good with the programming, he is understand the networking well, right? So there are many systems available on the internet, right? And suppose if we take a system which is a normal Linux system, which is connect to the internet, and there are many people, many guys who just do not change the default username and password of the system. Believe me, this is the case. This has happened, right? And this is the things, these are the vulnerabilities which these people take advantage of. I'm not sure, means if uh, I was sitting near to a coffee, right? Coffee shop where there were lot many people there, right? Maybe 50, 20 people. And most of them, suppose out of 50, that most of them have done around 10 people have OnePlus phone, suppose, right? You must be thinking, why OnePlus? Why not Android? Why not iPhone? I'm just taking an example. So there was 3 or 4 rings, means somebody is getting a call. And believe me, I have seen that people even do not change the default ringtone of OnePlus, right? If you are in a movie theater or if you are in a closed area, you must have this experience, right? That people do not even change the default configuration of their phone, default, whatever the default come, they are pretty happy with that, right? And these are the things which can be utilized by these intruders, these hackers, these attackers, right? So in a recent attack, not the recent, I do not have the timeline with me, but there is an attack which happened just because of this, right? Because most of the system, most of the people do not change the default username password, and if they are running the Linux system, it comes with the default username, I believe root and something like root. I'm not sure about it, but this guy is able to find so many systems on the internet which does not, which on all the system are going to have these default username and password, because these, whoever the administrator of these systems are not able to or hasn't changed the default username and password of this system. If that is the case, if these machines are on internet, anybody can connect with them and anybody can take the access of this system, because username and password, if it is default, anybody can log in into these devices, right? And believe me, if this intruder can log in into the multiple devices, then he can utilize them in whatever way he wants. Even in most of the cases, these systems do not even know that they have been controlled by anybody else. And this is a smart guy. He understands that people are lazy. They do not even change the ringtone of their phones, right? And that is fine if you are using, but believe me, if you are using the default username and password for your system, you are doing a mistake here, right? I'm not saying that this intruder can take access only if you have a default user and password configured. No, there are some other sophisticated techniques also through which basically this guy can take it, can get into your machine, right? But most of the time, I am taking the example here of maybe 20 machines. These 20 machines are controlled by this guy. Why? Because these people haven't changed the username and password, the default username and password. And if this guy, Mr. Intruder, is actually controlling these machines, this straight away means that these machines can be utilized for anything, right? And if we find in the complete world, there could be many, many machines, maybe 1,000 machines are there which are configured like this. And this guy can log into these machines, right? And we call such machine as bot. And basically the network which is created by them is known as, I forgot the name, right? Can anybody remind me what is the name of this bot? Networks of bots, right? We call them as botnet. I just So basically, who is the part of this botnet do not even know that their machine have been controlled by somebody, because this guy is not utilizing this machine 100%. Maybe if the machine RAM or the CPU, suppose, is maybe 100%, then this guy is only utilizing only 10% of the machine, and that is it. So that nobody comes to know about that this machine is controlled, right? Maybe 10%, 2%. But try to understand, there are thousands of such machines, and if this guy combine the power of thousands of machine, how much he is just like working on a supercomputer, right? And believe me, there are programs which can combine the power of different machines. You can use the power of different machines. Now, what he is doing, he is trying to do a coordinated attack on this server, right? What is that coordinated attack? Just try to understand. We just learned about TCP, right? What we were doing in TCP. In TCP, we have Anjali's machine, right? And we have Rahul's machine, or basically suppose Rahul have this server. And Anjali wants to take some information from the server, but before doing anything, Anjali sends a synchronized message to Rahul that I am going to start with number one. When Rahul servers get this machine, Rahul server is ready for a connection. So this server needs to reserve some of the resources. Interesting, right? And this reservation needs CPU time and memory. And then basically this guy sent the acknowledgement back and its own synchronous message that I will be starting from 1, right? But the whole sole point is that anybody sends a synchronous message, the server has to reply. And that is what Mr. Sports India server is going to do. If we have a server here, if anybody is sending a SYN packets towards me, I will be replying with SYNAC message, right? It is as simple as that. But if I reply with a SYNAC message, I need to store this connection state, which needs CPU and memory all the time whenever somebody is sending SYN. Now try to understand, what if all these 1000 or 1 lakh machines send synchronous message, right? And this is a coordinated attack by this Mr. Intruder, that all these machines are sending the SYN at once, or maybe within a 10-second interval. If that is the case, just try to understand what this server is doing. Maybe the server is capable of handling 1000 requests, right? But maybe the requests are coming 1 lakh. Or maybe if the servers can handle 1 lakh requests per second, then there could be many more requests, right? And every request server has to put some CPU and memory. And if that is the case, server will become out of resources pretty soon. Try to think, there are going to be some legitimate users too. If during this time frame, this legitimate user D wants to get something out of the server, maybe he is ordering a cricket bat or football, right? He won't be able to do that. Why? Because the server is busy in dealing with all these SYN requests. So what these guys are doing, right? These are just sending SYN, and that is it. Then these guys just stop. Now server is replying them SYN with SYNAC, and once this SYN plus acknowledgement message is sent by the server waits. Wait for what? Server waits for the acknowledgement from the client or from the Anjalis, right? Or from any machine who has sent the initial SYN message, and server will always wait for all the messages. Try to think how much resources we are going to utilize if all these 1000, 10,000, or 1 lakh bots or the botnet is sending the SYN message. This guy D won't be getting its turn so that it can place order. And that is the problem is Mr. Dhaval system is now under attack because he is not able to deliver the services which is supposed to do, and that is why we are calling it as denial of service attack. Why? Because Mr. Intruder, with the help of all these machines, is sending SYN messages. Server is dealing with the SYNAC messages. It has sent SYNAC, and it is waiting for another acknowledgement from all these botnets, which they are not going to send. And in the meantime, any legitimate user who wants to give the order, he won't be getting anything. If that is the case, your server is under attack. It is actually denying the legitimate request also. Why? Because he doesn't have the capability now. And we have seen such attacks in the past. Just try to write denial of service attack. This attack comes into a special category which is known as denial of service. There is another category which is known as distributed denial of service. And whatever I'm showcasing you here, this is actually the distributed denial of service. Why this is distributed denial of service? Because this attack is not happening from one machine. This attack is happening from anywhere in the world in a coordinated manner, because you never know which people forget about setting the username and password, which is not default, right? Maybe one machine is in India, other machine is in US, but they are actually coordinated by this Mr. Intruder to send all this thing right here. It is as simple as that. Denial of service, distributed denial of service. If you guys have any question on that, please do ask. or otherwise please raise your hand if you get something or 50-60% of this board. Perfect. And I can see there is somebody who is not on the mute, so please be on mute, and thank you so much. You are getting it. And if you are enjoying it also, believe me, there is lot things are there which you can go and learn in network security too. Having said that, let's talk about one more type of attack which comes under this category, which is known as a spoofing attack, right? So what is the meaning of spoofing? If spoofing means, let's try to understand. We have here Mr. Intruder, we have here a real machine. Real machine IP address is 6.6.6.50/24, right? And now again, this is sportsindia.com. This guy is a legitimate user. It is accessing the server is replying back. That is perfectly fine. But what is going to happen if this machine is going to access the server? There is no doubt about it that the server is going to reply with that. But what if this Mr. Intruder, while sending the packet towards the server, suppose the server address is maybe 9.9.9.9. The destination is going to be 9.9.9.9. The source should be, okay, let's take something else. Sorry for this. So suppose the server address is 11.11.11.11. So the destination address is going to be 11.11.11.11. And the source address should be the real address of this machine, which is going to be 9.9.9.9. But again, this guy is actually skillful. He understands IP packet and he has access to some of the tools also. Or he is skillful in network programming language or the programming language, and he can create such tools so that he can change the source IP address to anything, right? This is my source, this is my destination IP, and this guy is capable enough. If it wants to communicate to the server, he can change this IP address, right? You must be thinking how he can change the IP address, because this is the responsibility of IP header to set the source IP address. But at the end of the day, this is just the code. He can capture this packet, whatever is going out of this machine. He is going to change the source IP address of the IP packet, and he can send the packet like this. The source IP address of this packet is going to be now 6.6.6.50, and the destination is going to be 11.11.11.11. Try to understand this 6.6.6.50 is the IP address belong to this host, who do not have any idea. This host doesn't have any idea that somebody else is using its IP address to send this message, right? And the message is going to be here. Maybe again, this is the TCP SYN message. Interesting. The server is going to reply because we are going to send the destination. Now the destination will become, for this server, the destination will become 6.6.6.50, and this packet is going to deliver to this guy. This guy even doesn't care about what is the thing which is coming, right? Because at the first place, this client did not send the SYN request. Then why he would, or why it would reply for the SYN request, right? It is going to just discard this message, and the server is again going to wait that somebody is going to reply with the SYN ACK. Oh, sorry, somebody is going to reply with the ACK message, acknowledgement. By the way, I just repeat that if we have two devices on the internet, they are trying to make the TCP connection. The first message which goes is the synchronous message. We call it the SYN, which is sending the sequence number that I will be starting from 1. The reply is going to be SYN, that this guy B is going to say that I will be starting from this number, and basically it is acknowledging the previous message, whatever is sent by ACK, right? and then A is going to reply the SYN, right? It is going to say ACK. So SYN, SYN plus ACK, and ACK. This is the three-way handshake happen. So now the server has sent SYN plus ACK, and it will be waiting for the ACK, but this guy is not going to send the ACK message. Why? Because at the first place, this guy did not even send the SYN message. It is as simple as that. Try to understand what is going to happen if this guy is continuously sending the message with changed IP address, or basically with spoofed IP address. Such attacks are known as spoofing attacks because you have changed the real address with a fake one. You are spoofing the address. It's as simple as that, right? Now let's talk about another topic which is again very, very important, digital certificate. So here is the thing which I do not like about the syllabus here, right? Try to understand, we are learning security, right? But the syllabus says you need to teach digital certificate. You need to teach some spoofing attacks and few things, right? Believe me, this is not the structured way to learn security. Security start with, suppose if you have two systems, right? System number A, system number B, we are talking about sending the messages between them over internet, which is highly unsecure medium, right? Anybody can come here, capture the packet, and can get whatever the information they want. So if this we need to in a structured way, we need to start with three concepts, right? First thing first is confidentiality. What is the meaning of confidentiality? The meaning is if I am sending something, and if I want to remind you, in the very first class I've talked about confidentiality, right? So if I'm sending a packet, right? If this packet is plain, anybody can read it, right? So what I can do some magic. I can just garble my number with a algorithm so that this guy cannot read it. This guy cannot get meaningful information out of this packet, right? It means that we are just encrypting the packet. And this is known as confidentiality. We are not sending the packet in plain, right? The second thing is that the packet should be, the packet integrity should be maintained. What is the meaning of integrity? The meaning is, doesn't matter if I am sending in plain or I am sending in confidentiality, this guy should not be able to change anything out of it. For example, if you are sending that I want to deposit 1,000 rupees to this account of person B, and this guy say no, 1,000, submit 1 lakh rupees in my account, then the passage is changed, right? We need to make sure that nobody in the middle can change the packet. It means that we need to maintain the integrity of the message, right? The third thing is, whoever I am talking to, authentication, whoever I'm talking to, I need to first make sure that I am talking to a correct person. Suppose A is talking to B, B is maybe the Google server. I need to make sure that I am talking to Google server. It should not be that any other person can take the role of Google and can take my data. No, absolutely not, right? It means I want to authenticate that the person whom I'm talking to is the correct person or not, right? So these are the basics of your network security, right? We should start from here. But if I start from here, it is going to take me another 10 to 20 minutes. So this is not the structured approach of, of studying security. Security is much more deeper than that. Security is much more interesting than whatever I'm teaching you, right? And if you want to learn security in this manner, believe me, I'm again saying, just go enroll on this course, Network Security from Scratch. You will be getting access pretty soon of all the courses. Maybe today is the last day. By today, 7 p.m. or maybe 9 p.m., you all will be getting access of the complete site, just register on any course, just enroll on any course, and you can start learning, right? So I'm presuming that we are here maybe 100 to 120 people, right? Some of you, if some of you want to learn security into detailed, into its, what we can say, if you want to go into deeper knowledge of security understanding, just go for that. We are taking just ad hoc things from the security, right? We are learning sometime digital certificates, sometime the attacks, that how it happens. But believe me, there should be a structured way, which I do not find in CCNA syllabus, right? So what we are going to talk about, we are not going to talk about confidentiality, integrity. We are talking here authentication, right? What is the meaning of authentication? Once I make my mind that I need to talk to HDFC Bank. HDFC is my bank, right? When I decided I need to do some transaction of HDFC Bank, I need to withdraw some money, or I need to make sure that my money get deposited into my other account, right? I am sitting with my laptop accessing HDFC Bank, right? First thing first, what I need to do, I need to make sure that HDFC Bank or the server which I'm communicating to is the right server. It should not be anybody else who can say I am HDFC Bank. I need to make sure that, and believe me, there is an entire infrastructure which works, right? When you write when you write your hdfc.com, it will become there is a lock there, and HTTP will become HTTPS. Believe me, for you, HTTP is just becoming HTTPS, but there is a whole lot infrastructure behind this HTTPS, the single S alphabet, right? We are just going to talk about only one piece of it, which is authentication. The meaning of authentication is, before talking to HDFC, when I need to make sure that I'm talking to HDFC Bank, right? And that is where digital certificates come into picture, right? Punish, can you put everybody on mute?
Yeah.
Thank you. So here is the concept. Here is the why behind digital certificates, right? So if somebody says that, suppose I am Mr. Vishnu, suppose what I am Mr. Vishnu, right? And I say that I have completed BTech and I also have completed Master of Technology. I am BTech as well as MTech. Then some of you say, maybe true, maybe not, right? And then I would say, what is a me? What does it mean? I am saying I'm BTech and MTech, and then you must be saying there are a lot of people says I'm BTech and MTech. Do you have something to prove? And then I say that yes, I have certificate. I have certificate of the university who has granted me, who knows that I have devoted 4 years in BTech and 2 years in MTech, and they have given me the certificate. Then maybe most of you will believe me that yes, that's fine, that this guy is BTech plus MTech, right? And that is why we get certificates from our universities, right? I'm not sure whether you got or not. Maybe you are into your final year, or maybe you are done with your engineering, and maybe you have got this certificate also from this university, right? But that is the legitimate way of saying that yes, if I possess the certificate, it means that I have completed BTech and MTech, right? And that is what Miss Anjali is saying here, right? Anjali has passed her BTech from a particular university. And if you do not believe that, she's going to showcase the certificate to you. The certificate is provided by an authority which can provide the certificate, right? And the certificate is actually from the university, right? Suppose Anjali is saying that I have passed my engineering from IIT that is fine, right? And if she is applying for a job, anybody can ask that. We can believe if you can show us the certificate, and Anjali is going to showcase the certificate. And if this is signed by this IIT, then basically all the company is going to believe that, right? Because the certificate is generated by an authority which can generate the certificate. How you come to know about it? Because this university might be having this hologram, which is something which can be generated by this university, right? But you all know that the forgery can happen, right? We can see the forged certificates also. But generally, this is how we build trust in our normal cases. If somebody is saying that I have passed the BTech from IIT, we can straight away say that yes, if you have done, show us the certificate. And if they show us the certificate, I can definitely say that yes, you have passed it, right? Because it is written there that Miss Anjali has spent 4 years here with our institution, and she has passed all the exam. She has the necessary grades, and because she has the necessary grades, we are certifying Miss Anjali that she is capable of doing whatever and BTech engineer can do because she has passed all the necessary examination for BTech. And this is my hologram. This is the whole soul idea behind the certificate. Certificate means you have something through which you can prove others that you know that thing, right? Or you are capable of doing that. The power of this certificate is depends on this university. For example, anybody, suppose if I have an institute, right? And if I issue the certificate that yes, Miss Anjali has done the BTech, nobody is going to believe that. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows my institution. Everybody knows IIT. So this power of the certificate also depends on the issuing authority. If it is issued by somebody in the university, this is great. Or IITian, or sorry, the IIT, it is great. But if it's provided by somebody which is not known to anyone, then nobody is going to believe it. It's as simple as that. Similarly, if I talk about that, if you book your exam of CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate, you have to go to a registered examination center. They will give you a machine in which you need to sit, you need to solve some questions, and then they are going to give you a certificate. Maybe Cisco is going to give you some certificate, right? And inside in this certificate, there is a number. It is written that this guy has passed the certificate, right? This guy knows the necessary thing which are included in the CCNA syllabus, and then basically little signature from maybe, I'm not sure from whom, but maybe from Chuck Robbins, right? The certificate is going to be with you, which is going to prove that yes, you have that. So enough discussion on the certificate, right? But how we are going to do that in technical terms, believe me, as I spend a lot of times in analogies, most of the people who have developed all these systems are humans, right? Not most, everybody. And humans takes example, human observe thing, right? What is happening? How we build trust in normal system, we are going to build that trust in computing system also. Now suppose Miss Anjali wants to communicate to HDFC Bank over the internet. Intruder is already there, right? So first thing first, when Miss Anjali wants to communicate to HDFC Bank, right? First, she is going to say, "Hello, Mr. HDFC Bank." You must be wondering that is it happen? Does all these things like hello, whatever you are saying, it's happen? Hello, Mr. HDFC Bank. Believe me, there is technical term. This is a hello message. And what we are talking here is TLS, Transport Layer Security, right? If you do not get it, that is perfectly fine. This is the protocol which is behind Previously, everything was on HTTP. When TLS protocol come, it will become HTTPS, an extra S. Extra S means secure. We are just talking about only one aspect of the security. That when Anjali starts the communication with HDFC Bank, she is saying, "Hello, Mr. HDFC Bank," and straight away HDFC Bank replies. It doesn't start the communication. He says, "Miss Anjali, before talking to me, it's your responsibility to check that I am the HDFC Bank server and it is sending a particular file." Interesting, right? And Miss Anjali, get this file. In this file, it is written, "I am HDFC Bank. My IP address is this," and so many things. And there is a hologram right here. It means that this is kind of a certificate, right? And in fact, in TLS terminology, when we say "Hello HDFC Bank," server is going to send us the certificate, which is right here. This is my certificate, right? This certificate is signed by an authority just like the university, and this is the well-known authority we have. I think you must have heard about the name of VeriSign, DigiCert. These are the authorities which is responsible for signing the certificate. It means that HDFC Bank must have gone through this certificate authority towards, and he must have asked, "Can you generate a certificate for me which can prove to the entire world that I am HDFC Bank?" And certificate authority, after doing a due diligence, that yes, if you are HDFC Bank, show me some papers. Show me the papers that you are owner of hdfcbank.com or hdfc.com. And he will show the papers. And after due diligence, after checking everything, certificate authority is going to say that this guy is the HDFC Bank server, and it is going to say, send the certificate to this one. And now whoever wants to communicate to Mr. HDFC Bank server, HDFC Bank server is going to give the certificate. Take the certificate, right? And now HDFC Bank certificate is with Anjali. Anjali is going to say, "Okay, this certificate is signed by this certificate authority, which is trusted one," right? Just like the university, there are these certificate authorities which are trusted one over the internet. So I will believe that I am talking to the correct HDFC Bank, and then there are the communication remaining. After that, there is the communication between Anjali and HDFC Bank. But how to make this communication secure? It is totally different thing. As I mentioned, that is what I do not like about the syllabus, because it is picking some of the things. It is not giving you the complete picture of security. But I can understand that whoever is developed the CCNA syllabus, they just want to give you the glimpse of the security. If you have interest, go into it, right? Yesterday, Anmol talked about WLC's wireless fundamental. If you are feeling that thing interesting, just go and read about it more. If you are feeling programmability and automation more interesting, just explore it more. If you are feeling your network, your routing and switching more interesting, just explore about it more. If you are feeling everything I need, just talk, just read about everything, right? The thing which you have with you right now is the time. I believe you must be within the range of 22 years to 24 years. Believe me, this is the time, right? I'm not saying spend everything. This is the time to enjoy also. You have the good job, right? But 1 hour, 1.5 hours, if you spend on this, this is going to be great. Just start learning anything new, whatever you like, right? So through CCNA syllabus, you have wide spectrum of things, whatever you want. I am teaching today security. Believe me, I like it the most. Routing and switching is the second preference. This is the number one preference I have. Although I have left security 7 years back, but there are so many things in security which keeps me motivating, right? To read more. If you are interested, exploring more, CCNA syllabus is just say, CCNA just say that there are so many things in the enterprise network: security, wireless, programming automation, routing and switching, anything, right? Just have a look at it. But yes, digital certificate here means that you are identifying HDFC Bank server before before actual communication, nothing else. But there must be some question coming into your mind, and it should come to your mind, that why, how Mr. Intruder can't get this certificate, right? Because HDFC Bank server, at the end of the day, some people are going to this guy to get the certificate. This guy, Intruder, can also go to the certificate authority and ask for the certificate. Then I am HDFC Bank, right? And that is why due diligence of certificate authority comes into picture. This guy literally see that whether you are HDFC Bank or not. Prove us that you have hdfcbank.com domain name with you. Show us some certificates. Show us some information, papers, physical papers that you are Mr. HDFC Bank. And definitely, secure or certificate authority is not going to give the certificate to anybody else other than HDFC Bank. You must be thinking that that is fine. This guy cannot get the HDFC certificate. But as we all see, this certificate is right there on internet. Why can't this guy can get this file and say to Anjali that I am HDFC Bank? And there are so many questions, so many questions which should come to your mind. And that is where the complete infrastructure is there. You need to understand confidentiality, integrity, authentication. If some protocol is providing these three parts, this is completely safe. TLS is the protocol which provides confidentiality, integrity, and authentication. And that is why this is extremely safe protocol. And everything, whatever you see on internet, if you are saying HTTPS, this is running on this protocol TLS. And unfortunately, we have just read about only one piece, and there is only 5% of this authentication. There is a lot more things. We haven't talked about confidentiality, integrity. Again, if you are interested, just go and check the course. Having said that, digital certificate, guys. Again, I would like to pause here. Punish, do we have any question? Punish, if you're talking, you're on mute.
Not right now.
Not right now. Okay, so let's take a hand raise. Guys, can you just raise your hands if you are making something out of this board, maybe 20, 30%, 40%? This is good. So shall I presume whoever is not raising the hand doesn't get it? Let's talk about some guys, right? What about Sanya? Sanya, did you get something out of this board, digital certificate? Okay, am I audible?
You are clear, Vishnu.
But I am not getting anything. I am pinging some of the guys. Okay, Kanak Sharma, can you hear me? Harshit, can you hear me? Before talking, just unmute yourself and you can talk. Okay. Roshan Gupta, Sanya Sachdeva, Sidhu Bomu, Sri Pavan. I'm not sure you are here or you are not here because everybody is on mute. You can unmute yourself. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's talk about somebody who has raised hand. Ayushri Ghoshal, can you hear me?
Yes, Vishnu, I can hear you.
Perfect. So did you get something out of this board, Ayushri?
Yeah, I found it to be pretty interesting.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay, so let's move ahead. I would again say tomorrow is the last class. So whoever is here, whoever is not here, Just take this classes slightly seriously. It is going to impact on the results which you are going to get pretty soon, right? So having said that, let's move to the next board. Which is virtual private network. What is the meaning of it, right? So suppose this is my Cisco office. This is the entire network of Cisco. We have data center. This is my campus. This campus is the Bangalore campus. Many buildings are here in Bangalore campus. And this is my Delhi branch in Cisco, and this is my Pune branch. Suppose everything is connected over this wide area network. WAN. We have talked about this network. No doubt, no problems. And now we have Anjali. Anjali got selected here as an intern. But right now she is at home. Cisco has given her this laptop. And now Anjali wants to work and she wants to access maybe a server which is inside my data center, inside Cisco office, right? Interesting. Maybe she wants to fill the time card, right? Or anything. She's working on this machine, right? The server machine. And now she wants to access this machine or the application from her home. She has taken a pretty good connection, Airtel. This is nice, right? And here is my problem. If Anjali is sitting at her home and if she wants to communicate to the server from here to here, right? Don't you think that there are many other persons who are not in Cisco sitting at her home accessing the internet, and if they have some skills, they can capture Anjali's traffic? Yes, absolutely they can, right? It means that when Anjali wants to communicate to Cisco network, right, or any server inside the Cisco's network, she need to make sure that she is sending packets in such a way that nobody else can read it, right? But Anjali doesn't know about it, right? That how to send those packets which cannot be readable by anyone but Cisco servers, right? So that is why I presume that you already know AnyConnect. AnyConnect is a client on your machine. You open that and you connect to the Bangalore headend. What is the meaning of headend? Headend is something which is actually on the internet from the Cisco, right? So this router can be the headend. This firewall can be the headend. A device which is facing internet, which is letting anybody from outside inside to inside your Cisco office, right? So basically, what happens? Your machine builds a initial connection with this headend first. We call this as tunnel. Interesting. If I talk about that, whatever the IP packet Anjali wants to send, those packets are encrypted. Meaning of encryption is that nobody can read them unless they know the key to decrypt it, right? And then they basically are sent as the inside another IP packet, maybe, or they are encrypted and they are sending in the TCP message or whatever, right? If this message is flowing over this wire now, not wire because it's a virtual connection, that is why I'm calling it as tunnel, virtual tunnel, right? So this message is confidential, right? Why I have encrypted it. Before talking to this server, I have made sure that I check the certificate of this server. And I am using some technique so that nobody else, no one on the internet can tweak this message. It means that I am maintaining confidentiality by encrypting the message. I'm maintaining integrity by something, right? So that nobody can change this message in the middle, and then I'm maintaining authenticity also by checking the certificate of the server to which I'm connecting. Once this message is done, once this tunnel is built, you can send this message over this, right? And this is what your AnyConnect is actually doing. It is making sure that this tunnel is formed, and then you can send your message over this tunnel securely. And once this message comes here, these are going to be decrypted, and the packet which will be remaining here is the normal IP packet or whatever the TCP packet you have, right? And this router know the routing, and it will be forwarding it to wherever it wants to go. It is as simple as that. But this portion, this thing, whatever we are creating, right, over the internet, which is public medium, where the whole entire public is connected, I am creating my own private network, right? How? Because whatever I am sending over this virtual red color link or tunnel, it is extremely safe because I am sending it using confidentiality, integrity, and authentication. It means that I am safe. I am creating my own private network, but that network is not that physical, right? Anjali is not taking the cable and putting inside the Cisco's router. She's creating this logical table or the logical tunnel or the logical connection, right? Which you can see in the red color. This logical connection, the entire network, whatever is coming, is its virtual private network. This is your VPN, which you talk about, right? Because over this public network, you have created a tunnel which can safely take your packets inside Cisco network. Rahul won't be able to do that, right? Rahul won't be having this AnyConnect because AnyConnect with some specific properties can be installed, will be installed on Anjali's laptop and not. It doesn't mean that Rahul cannot take AnyConnect software from anywhere else. It can install it, but when it will be making a connection toward this server, this machine not be authenticated by my head end, Rahul won't be getting the access into my organization, but Anjali would be. How many of you have used AnyConnect? Can you raise hand? Anybody? Anybody who has used? So AnyConnect is actually doing this for you, right? And I believe that virtual private network, VPN, is actually this technology, whatever we have just learned. So there are two different types of virtual private network. Number one is remote access VPN. The meaning of remote access is that you are sitting somewhere on internet, right? Anjali is sitting somewhere on internet, and if she want to access this device, she is remote to us, right? She is remote to this organization. She is outside now. Although she is an employee of Cisco, she's sitting at her home, but she's outside. It is as simple as that. She's remote. And if somebody remotely access our company's resources using this tunnel, this thing, whatever we are making here, right? This connection is actually your remote access VPN. Why remote access? Anjali is remote. Why access? Anjali want to access the Cisco's network. Why VPN? You know this is virtual private network because you are creating this network over the public internet, which is available to everybody. But nobody else apart from Cisco can decrypt this message. No one else. This is again built on this technology called TLS or protocol called TLS. Transport layer security, because this router should understand how Anjali is encrypting the packet so that this router can decrypt those packets. It is as simple as that. I'm not sure whether it is fascinating for you, but yes, your AnyConnect software is doing this. It is to make remote access VPNs. As simple as that. There is a lot more to come, a lot more on this, right? You can read about it. But let's take a pause here, not pause. Let's move to another type of VPN, which is your okay, sorry for this. Another type of VPN is site-to-site VPN. It is right here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Try to understand the use case here. Try to understand the use case. Previously, suppose this was the Cisco's network, right? Previously, what was happening that this is connected to internet, right? And Anjali was sitting at her home and she want to access the server. So she was able to by making this tunnel through any connect, and we call it as a remote access VPN. But now here, there is slightly difference. Here, what we are doing is we have this campus, we have this branch, and we have this branch, we have also this branch, which is data center, right? Again, everything is connected over internet. So what is going to happen if this guy send a packet, IP packet, over this network? Again, it is going over the internet, right? This IP packet wants to go to this branch 1. It will be coming here and it will be delivered to here, right? Without any doubt, without any problem. But again, internet is full of intruders. They can get the packet, right? It's a problem. Previous problem was Anjali at her home. She is single, right? She want to make a connection. Maybe other guys are also want to make a connection who are in Cisco. But here we are not talking about individual identity. We are talking about campus, which is having maybe 100 of user, branch, which is having 50 of user, maybe 30 of user here. And here basically we are having so many servers, maybe 100, more than 100 servers, right? These are part of this organization which want to connect over this unsecure medium. Now we are actually talking connecting to different sites. What is the meaning of site? The meaning of site is this data center. To me, it is one site. Campus is another site. Another site of what? Another site of same organization. Maybe this is Cisco. Cisco has a data center in maybe Mumbai, and Cisco has a campus in Bangalore. Suppose these are two different sites. This branch is also a site for me. This branch is also a site for me. Now I want to connect these sites securely over the internet. Previously, I was just connecting individual person who are working from home, from a coffee shop, from a mall, from airport, anywhere, right? That is different part of the VPN. That is different flavor of the VPN, which we know as remote access VPN. But now we want to make sure that we can build channel between campus to data center, campus to this branch, and campus to this branch too, so that we can send messages securely over this tunnel. Interesting, right? Here we are trying to connect different sites, and inside those sites there are not an individual, there are so many people. Complete infrastructure is there here and here, right? We are trying to connect to complete infrastructure over this link, which is not real link, right? Whatever you are going to send, again you are encrypting it and sending it. But here you are connecting to different site, and the flavor of VPN, again public network, your own private network you are building on top of it. This is known as VPN, but this type of VPN is known as site-to-site VPN. There is another technology which is IPsec, which actually can encrypt the IP packet, just like TLS can, right? If you do not get it, that is perfectly fine. IPsec and TLS, there are two different technologies, different things. Why we use IPsec here, why we use TLS here, this is a completely different topic, right? Which needs an effort and basically some more concepts too. But these are the two types of VPNs, site-to-site VPNs and the remote access VPN. As simple as that. And now, the last topic of today's was access control list, but unfortunately, I do not have much time because Dhaval, how much time you are going to take to complete today's class, today's practical?
Hey Vishnu, so what topics are we covering specifically?
Basically, let them know about the iOS. Let them know about. I think I wrote something on the chat, right?
Yeah, so I think startup and running config we have already shown
Okay.
in my first lab,
Mhm.
but I can take them through again.
Yeah,
That's fine.
basically a complete iOS knowledge that how to basically log in, enable password, whatever. That
Okay.
means basically where this configuration is saved, how you can change the image on a particular box. Not means you are not going to change it, but guide them that basically how they can do, right? And then if we
Okay.
can showcase them how to set the enable password also, some portion of security at least.
Sure. No issue.
So maybe half
Yeah.
an hour is going to be good for you, Dhaval?
Yes, it should be good.
Okay, so I am stopping right now. Tomorrow's class is going to be last class, everybody, right? So just wait until Dhaval completes. I have some important information for you. Having said that, Dhaval, please take the control. It's all up to you.